Hello. Yes, can everybody hear me? Hi. Hi everyone everybody. So I'm Angel Kinan. I'm gonna be moderating this panel. We did it yesterday for the filmmakers. Today we're doing actors. So you are in for a nice treat. And tomorrow they're doing the writers panel. So welcome to Los Angeles Philippine International Film Festival actors panel. Um, so we're in for a nice treat today because we have a variety of actors here. One from the Philippines, from Italy, like, and two from local here in Hollywood. So we're gonna be hearing a lot. So why don't we start by having each one of you introduce yourselves? Maybe talk about a little bit about about you and the films that you have for this film festival. You want to start with that? Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Ruben Maria Sorrigues. I'm a Phil-Italian actor, director, and producer. And I started in Italy, I worked in Germany, and then eventually I moved to the Philippines, and I opened a film production company there. So the film entered in this festival. It's my first film produced in the Philippines,
Wow.
but it's my third feature. The first two were produced in one in Italy, and the other one is an Italy-Germany co-production. And well, that's it.
Thank you, Ruben. And this is Abe.
Hi, I don't know if anybody knows me. I'm Lolo Pepe. I'm also one of the founder of the LAPIFF, Los Angeles Philippine International Film Festival. And this is our second year. I'm very excited, especially in the opening night. We have so many people. Being an actor also, I've been acting for more than 45 years, older than baby. So I started. A lot of people is asking me, "Where did you start? Did you start in the Philippines?" No, I actually started here. I was 8 years old or 9 years old when I started. So yeah, when in the beginning of my career in United States, I tell everybody that I'm Hawaiian because nobody knows about Filipinos. So to be true about it, I was born in Hawaii. So I only grew up in the Philippines. So that's my story being an actor. I did a lot of works. Mostly I play Indians, American Indians, Eskimo, because at that time they actually don't know anything about Philippines. So it's kind of, okay. I play the game. Eskimo, Hawaiian, Chinese, Japanese. It's only lately, right now, that we're able to say we're Filipinos. And the first time I was thinking about a film festival is that when my movie went to Sundance. And it's the first a film movie that went to Sundance called Flipside. It's a long time ago. I would say we filmed that more than 18 years ago. Then it took another 2 years to do the process and something like that. Then finally they got our film not in the Asian part of it, but Native American. So how come a Filipino film being a Native American? But it's okay, The first time we go to Sundance, and I experienced Sundance. I don't know anybody here been to Sundance Film Festival.
It's
It's
one of the
amazing.
biggest.
It is one of the biggest, and it's all party, and it's so unique that we actually become a Filipino group because we have one room and we have 18 people in one room in in Utah. So it was an experience. Everybody doing the only problem is going to the bathroom, So can you imagine 20 people going to one bathroom?
That's
So,
very That's the
well, you
reality.
become a community, So that's the time that I was thinking about Filipino Film Festival. Do you know that there's a film festival in LA almost every week, and there's no Filipino.
Mm.
until we did this. So now the whole world knows about us, about LAPIFF. So now we only have to find the money to do this. So
So keep
I'm very glad
supporting.
that all you guys in here that experiencing what we're trying to do with the community about showing Hollywood, Filipino, Pinoy wood. I'm really thank you God that it's happening. So I want to thank Dr. Buffel, one of our board member, and Lo is starting to help us, and of course my son is all over the place. I don't know where he is. And Angel, thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and of course Sheila for putting
Sheila.
me in her movie. It will be a sequence. She's gonna tell you about that. Yeah, Tita is a board member also. She's a professor in UCLA, Tagalog, and my friend Ruben. So there, and I'm talking too much.
Oh, locals muna.
You want some local? Okay. I'm so honored to be here on this panel with all these veteran actors. So basically, I started as well, like Abe, as a kid, doing it, always dreaming about it. Even though my dad said, "You're not blonde, you're not 5'10", blue-eyed, you can't do this. What are you doing?" My parents are both nurses. So I was always having to go against the grain and fight for what I really wanted. So I've been acting since I was a kid, first in theater. And I was very fortunate to be in a predominantly Asian high school, so they actually could cast me in the lead of Carousel. I played Julie Jordan, which is the most white name out there, but they put a Filipina in it, so I was very honored. That was my first real leading role. And then from there, I just continued in believing in myself, even though everyone told me, no, this is not a viable career. And then I went to grad school and forgot about acting. But actually, the actress I cast in the movie Lullaby that showed the other day, she was telling me, because she became a mom, I was offered a contract in the Philippines, and then she decided to come back to America and marry her boyfriend instead of taking that path. And she's the one who brought me back into it. And I reconnected with my passion, and I've been acting since in Hollywood. My most notable credits have been on Ray Donovan, this indie film called Driving While Black, which is probably going to be released in theaters. You know how that is. They always say it's going to be released soon, but you never know when. And I did this series on the Urban Movie Channel, and that's another platform like BET for African Americans. But they're so kind to give other colored actors a platform to also play themselves and not, Chinese or Native American or an Eskimo. I can actually play a Filipina American, which is great. And I just continue creating work when there's not enough work out there for us. So I am so proud of this movement, and I just look forward to see what's to come.
See how exciting we have installed for you. So our topic today is from. Oh, sorry. Because it went that way.
All of
so-
you guys speak Tagalog. No, you don't. Anyway, I studied in the United States. I was a drama major at the University of California, Santa Barbara. And I did some musicals, showcase musicals in Hollywood. But that was about the time that Bruce Lee was on the way to becoming a star. So there was a chance for people of the Oriental slant to make it, but he died. And along with his death was the death of my career. So I actually started a career in the Philippines, mostly theater work, and then some television, some film. Have been blessed with the opportunity to work with the legends in film, like Lamberto Avellana, who's a national artist, and Ishmael Bernal, another national artist. And I covered the three golden periods, the three golden periods of Philippine cinema. The third one was with Lav Diaz, who is famous for his slow cinema. The latest was Hele sa Hiwagang, one of the latest, Hele sa Hiwagang Hapis, or no, that was 8 hours. The trailer was 4 hours. But anyway, it won at the Berlinale, a Silver Bear, where the president of the jury was Meryl Streep. So I'm getting ahead of myself. I lived in the States for the last 12 years after turning my back on Philippine entertainment and cinema and all that. I got burned out. I got depressed. I went to the States and had my own style of American depression. I did. It was fun. You know. I never quite made it in American television or American film, but I did make some kind of a dent in American theater. A play I directed and translated into Tagalog was presented at the Inside the Ford Theater. It's about Filipino immigrant workers of the 1930s. So I presented it in both the English and Tagalog versions in repertory, and it was nominated for 5 different categories at the LA Weekly Awards for Best Director, Best Choreographer, Best Actor, Best Ensemble, Best Fight. And we won Best Director and Best Choreographer. So that's my one claim to fame.
You can clap, guys.
Thank you. But I was undergoing a terrible depression because there was no platform for my passion here in the United States. It was difficult at my age to try and fight the system. There is a glass ceiling, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. Very few Filipinos make it through, and the ones who make it through sometimes say, "Why do Filipinos want to appropriate us? I'm American." Oh yeah. Have you taken a close look at Have you taken a close look at yourself in the mirror? So he said, you break through, and you are telling us in a sense that there is hope. So don't deprive us of that joy of celebrating your talent and your ethnicity, because that's a part of us. Anyway, long story. I went back to the Philippines. I did more in the Philippines in 5 months than I did in the US in 5 years.
Wow.
There's a lesson in there somewhere. I don't know what it is. But the lesson for me was that I found a place where there is a platform for my passion. From a depression in the US where I almost wanted to kill myself, I went back not knowing what awaited me. You know, there was 70 years old, bald and gay, and hair now and looking younger. And the universe conspired and things started to happen. I guess you just have to go where for me, is follow your passion and solutions will come. Anyway, I'm taking too much time. But I think it gives you an idea that at least for us, you're never too old and it's never too late. That's my mantra, okay? And the lesson is color has nothing to do with it. Talent will out. What we need is what LAPIFF is doing now. This should have been here ages ago, okay? Something to celebrate us, our stories, our color, our face, and bonding, the kind of bonding you're doing now, and creating what you're supposed to create. Small films, big films, whatever it is, long, short, still film. And so that's great. I applaud you guys for doing this. Maraming salamat.
Well, thank you for being here. I want to mention also, I'm a big fan, like before, of Home Along the Realist, and and he was part of that. Our topic today is from aspirations to action. What does it take to be a working actor? Oh, I know everybody knows about that, how hard it is. I mean, we already heard a little bit about it. So let's start with aspirations. What made you aspire to be an actor, and how hard is it to get to where you are right now? And anybody can start if you know.
I will start because I have a microphone in my hand. Well, I never auditioned for any role because though I started as an actor, so I studied theater in Italy, 2 years academy, but at the same time I was studying directing. So I start, of course, to cast myself in my own shorts.
Sounds familiar.
And I was always the lead. so I started building my resume. So and then my first feature was an Italy-Germany co-production. It was a mafia film I shot in south of Italy and Germany. But there I didn't play any role because it was too difficult to shoot that film. I was also DOP and also executive producer. So my first real occasion to play the lead in a feature film was again in another film of mine. Where yeah, where and the first film that I produced in the Philippines in 2014 of Sinners and Saints, and it's the film that was entered in this festival and will be showing tonight at 9:30. So in this film, I produced it, I directed it. I'm playing, I play the lead, and I edited, and I always also distributed partly. But I did the right thing because I won several awards. Best actor in Manila.
Again, we can clap for
Then
that.
also in India, Malaysia, in a festival in Hawaii. And but not only best actor, since I was also the director, I won also best director and best film in other
Wow.
in other festivals. And that's what made a major TV station notice me, ABS-CBN, and that's why I was able to experience TV acting last year. It was a good thing because we're like 100 episodes in prime time. Wow. So Dolce Amore, yes, I played the father of the lead, Lisa Soberano. So I find that my strategy had been successful. It worked. It worked.
The investment worked.
Yes, yes. And now I'm started to be casted by other directors in the Philippines. So I got job from GMA, from other Filipino directors.
So are you mostly based in the Philippines now, or?
Yeah,
Here
now mostly based in the Philippines, but my plans are to move to Los Angeles, to Hollywood. I have friend producers who I met in Cannes, because since I'm a director, but I'm also the CEO of my own production company, I go to film festivals, the film markets, so I go to Berlin, I go to Cannes, I go to Hong Kong, I go to Busan, so I get a chance to meet a lot of industry professionals.
And you speak Italian and German as well?
Not German, but I was
Italian.
born and raised in Italy. And that gave me also the opportunity to take up important seminars with master directors in Italy.
Wow.
I had a seminar with Giuseppe Tornatore, which is the director of Nuovo Cinema Paradiso. I had workshops with Alan Parker and other Italian directors. Well, Alan Parker is British. And so I don't feel I'm only an actor, because my passion is also directing and producing.
Wow.
So I want to move to LA, and also to connect with the Italian filmmakers community, which is big and is doing good, and of course also with the Filipino community, because I'm half.
Of course, all of them. You
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So very international. So congratulations. Thank you
Thank you.
for that. And Abe, what about you? What aspired you to become an actor, and how hard is it to get to where you are right now?
I want to be everything.
Another
Yeah.
multi-talented actor here.
I think if you really look at it, how did I start acting? I remember as a young kid in the Philippines, because I did grow up, even though I was born in Hawaii, I grew up in the Philippines. That's the reason why I speak several dialects. In the Philippines, Ilonggo, Tagalog, Ilocano, Cebuano. So, I can go all this thing, and it's just very considerate also. So, and si habla español. Yeah, as a young kid, we were farmers and we have carabaos. So we take the carabaos and graze it, And so we play hide and seek and war games and all like that. And I started loving that thing, just pretending as a young kid. I guess that's when I started thinking about being in the movies. Then I got chance in school to play a little bit play, which I really just stand up and memorize my lines. So and then I got to United States, and I'm also a war, a Vietnam veteran. That shows me how old I am. Me and this guy. He's younger than me, by the way. So when I got out in the service, I have a GI Bill. What am I going to do with the GI Bill? So I went to acting school here in. So I took some in Strasbourg, like that. And after that, I did some theaters, small theaters, and that's what everybody say. If you're an American, you have to go to theaters. So I did that, and unfortunately, I didn't finish acting school because while I'm acting school, I'm getting cast. So I'm working right away. Not a big one, but again, I am playing Japanese, Chinese, except Filipinos, and Eskimos, and all like that. So that's when it started. Then reality came that I can't get a job. I mean, small one, I could do that. So I quit. The first time I quit acting. So that's probably about 5 or 10 years in between. So I think I quit twice in the acting business because I have a family, and I'm the type of person that's responsible to take care of my kids and my family. So I will look for a job. So right now, when people ask me, how do you stay being an actor? You got to get a job, to pay the bills. So that's the reality of it. I kind of believe when you say, I'm an actor, I want to stay being an actor, and that's all I want to do. But in reality is that in Hollywood, there's 130,000 members of SAG. And there maybe only 2,000 are working. Now you understand why you didn't cast, right? But yeah, I go to audition. I do a lot of stuff like that. I have a good agent, and mostly technically I do a lot of commercials. I just how do you do the commercials? Just put a big smile. That's all you gotta do. So I get. In fact, right now I have a commercial running with Samsung, which is paying very good. Movie-wise, I get call from a lot of people. They seen my work, so they just cast me without auditioning.
Wow.
So it's kind of nice, but I don't really mind being auditioning. I love auditioning, but that means that
They
I'm
know you
available.
already, yes.
Yeah. So I don't mind being because I really believe that I can play anything, except I never want to be in a Shakespeare movie. So, but I can do anything. So the staying power is that the love of it, the love of what you're doing with the fun thing. And me and Bibi is Sir Bib talking about because I do films in the Philippines also, and I don't mind doing that, even though sometimes the TF is none. You know what the TF is?
Talent
Talent
fee.
fee. A lot of times it's pare ko, gawin mo naman to. So, sige. Just, the only requirement to go to the Philippines is that when you call me up, please, we'll shoot that day, not a month or 2 months from now. So, because I come back in here and get I get paid very good in the United States because I'm SAG. That's where money is. But in the Philippines, it's passion. Really doing the work that you want to do, being somebody else that you're not. So that's the reason why I did about 3 Cinemalaya in the Philippines. And I'm not gonna say I didn't get paid. I get paid because I love what I do. So that's a pay enough for me doing that. But when I really want to make a lot of money, and I go back to Hollywood. That's what I do. So whatever your dream is, you keep doing it, but have something in the side. Like I said, if you have a family, make sure you can pay the bills also, because acting doesn't really pay the bills. So that's my suggestion.
Congratulations, and also the Los Angeles Philippine International Film Festival. Thank you for that, for this.
I guess even as a kid, I wanted to be an actor, film actor. But in the Philippines, growing up, you see people on screen who are mestizos, and I'm brown. And it would take another 30 years before Nora Honor and Rico J. Puno would establish a new normal in terms of Philippine stars on screen. Strangely enough, 30 years later, the mestizos are back, and they're taking glutathione to make their skins white. But that's another story. But anyway, there was, since I knew there was no future for me as a dark boy, I wound up being a journalist. I took up journalism at the University of Santo Tomas. And then I came over to study and took my master's in dramatic arts from the University of California, Santa Barbara. Back of my mind thinking that whatever else I will do, I have a fallback or something that I can live off later. It will take another century before I could use that. I am now teaching at the University of the Philippines, the University of Santo Tomas Graduate School, and the Meridian International College in Taguig. I'm the head of the theater arts program.
And for those who doesn't know, those are the best universities in the Philippines,
Thank you,
UST
thank you,
and
thank you.
UP.
And why am I mentioning this? Because Abe was talking about a day job, some kind of source of sustenance. You will starve. Wherever you are as an actor, you will starve unless you're rich like this guy here from Italy. Who can produce and direct and edit and star in his own film. And probably buy out the whole house for
I have something to say about it because
But
I don't produce only with my money.
that's the resourcefulness.
And another thing, it's not always true that you starve if you act, because it depends.
Okay.
What gig you get.
You're lucky in that sense. We're talking about our story. You are the blessed one. In the Philippines, as I was saying, the talent fee is very small. Okay. So it's my teaching that subsidizes my work in indie films. The indie films in the Philippines is the new mainstream. Philippine movies, for all intents and purposes, is practically dead. They do. There was a time when they were doing 500 films a year. Now they're down to 50 or 20. It did about 4, so not bad. But you see, our indie films are only starting to build a market, an audience. So I'm kind of rambling. There's a whole lot of story to tell when you're 72 years old. So let me refocus. The important thing I learned throughout the process, I knew my passion was I wanted to be an actor, is I had to make myself competitive. I had to empower myself so that I can compete in the workplace. Okay, so I take workshops. I grab any opportunity to act on stage. I read, I watch movies, good or bad, to find out what works and does not work. You have to be a lifelong learner if you want to get any kind of value from the experience. The journey is gonna be always bumpy. It still is bumpy for me. I had to turn down a Brillante Mendoza film to do LAPIFF. Can you imagine that? Me turning down a celebrated director. I've been wanting to do a film with him for ages, and finally the opportunity came, and I had to say no. You see how
But he wouldn't have been here today.
but the thing that I've learned to accept is if it's meant for you, it's gonna happen. If it's not, it's not. There'll be another chance because right today it came out on Facebook that we're celebrating our, how do you call it, FB anniversary? You call it? We're 8 years friends
Oh, the
on
moments, like
yeah,
the moments,
and I
Facebook
said,
moments,
and I
memories.
mentioned there that I'm here. I'm missing the opportunity to work with him, etc. And he messaged me and says, "There'll be another chance. See you soon." That's the other lesson I'm trying to share with you is that you have to create the opportunity. You cannot wait for auditions. You cannot, look for workshops, and you have to network. This is networking. Mhm. I
Full offer now because of this.
it's and then you have to know when to say yes and when to say no. But no, there's, was we say in Tagalog, walang masamang.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. You learn from everything, terrible, rotten, or what. You learn something from it. There's always a takeaway. You just have to discern what it is, so you can move on with a little bit more empowered. Now, would I come back to the States after what I'm doing in the Philippines? In the Philippines, most movies are being filmed with the intention of succeeding in film festivals. I've been back in the Philippines for 3 years. As I told you, I did more in 5 months than I did in the US in 5 years. In those 3 years, I did King Lear. That's not a film, but at my age, to do King Lear, as soon as I got back to the Philippines, is a major thing. And right now, four of my indie films are showing in festivals in different parts of the world. Purgatorio, my first lead role at age 71 with Derek Cabrido. Larawan is now showing at the Tokyo International Film Festival. Again, with the national artist Rolando Tino's script, the story from another national artist. This is bragging rights of an old man. But what I'm saying is, I allowed myself the opportunity to try something different. As I told you, I went back old, depressed, practically homeless, and I just sent it out to the world and to the universe that I want to do something that I'm
Talk about
passionate about,
passion.
and things started falling into place. It's one indie film after another. Why am I saying this to you all as well? You have Filipino connections. Make use of it. If you have to travel to the Philippines and work there, find a way to do it. Indie films, there are, I don't know how many festivals, local festivals are going, a lot. And a lot of indie films being shot the whole time, and workshops every week. So you will come up with a question agad.
We'll have the question and answer in a
Later,
little
okay.
bit, yeah.
Sige. But sometimes a matter of who you know, right? But there are also Facebook pages about auditions, casting calls, etc. But that's important. Who you know is a very important thing. But also, showing up is a very important thing also. Knowing when to be there and being prepared. Ang dami ko sinasabi. Balikan nyo na lang ako mamaya, o kaya sulatan nyo ako sa Facebook.
I think we got the answer in terms of why you aspire to be an actor and what you did to get where you are.
I'll sum it up. If you can live without acting, then you should not be an actor. I don't think I can live without acting. That's why I'm an actor.
Okay, Sheila. So
Ditto.
you remember the question, right?
Why I aspire to be an actor and what keeps me in, basically.
Or what have you done to get to where you are right now?
Okay, so I grew up. So basically, I had a rough beginning. I almost died when I was born. I was a blue baby. I popped a hole in my lung. And my mom always told me there's a reason why you're still here. And it didn't take me very long to find that reason because I almost died, so my parents kind of spoiled me, and I always was vying for that attention. So 7 years of my life as an only child, so I would be the star of the show, and I would put on shows for them, put on shows for my classmates, and it just kept going. And then what happened was my grandparents from the Philippines, they lived with us, and my grandfather had kidney failure and he had dialysis, but I remember him always in his armchair watching John Wayne and his westerns and being transported into that TV set, and his pain was gone. And I saw the power of entertainment, and I wanted to bring that to people, that happiness, and transport them to a different place. And it just kept going for me. Did community theater as a kid. My parents didn't want me to, but I begged them for lessons until they couldn't handle me anymore. They couldn't handle saying no anymore to me. And with that perseverance and belief in myself and knowing what I wanted, I continued with that. You know, I had so many people tell me no. In fact, in high school, I never got a chance to even be a small role. So then I told myself, you know what, maybe I'm not ready. So I enrolled into singing lessons, and I did any community theater that would accept me. And then by junior year, I was cast as the lead role after not having anything before that. So I took that as a lesson for life now. You know, right now, under my belt, I had Ray Donovan, and I got that lead in the indie feature. And then I started getting auditions for cops because I play a Filipina cop in this movie. And left and right, auditions were coming
can
in.
see
True
that.
Detective, Jane the Virgin. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. I didn't book a single audition after. I was like on this climb. You know, my agents had a lot of things to pitch me on, and I didn't book any of those. So then it just kind of came spiraling down, and I had to look at myself, and, you know, I doubted myself. Like, maybe it was a fluke. All those times before, maybe it was a fluke. But then I stopped too. I was in grad school studying speech language pathology, and then I dropped out because, as I mentioned earlier, my friend Noreen, who decided to give up a contract she was offered by ABS-CBN to live a normal life, she told me, Sheila, let's take acting classes. I miss doing something for myself. While I was in grad school, I was like, that's how I feel too. Why am I in grad school? My whole life I wanted to be an actor. So I dropped out of grad school. I took that leap of faith, and I haven't turned back since. So now when I do have slow periods, I create. Like my friend here, thank you, Maxwell. We starred together in a little short that my friend directed. So always keep yourself busy. Always keep yourself creative, because there's no reason why you shouldn't be working. And so that, I think, the biggest thing is believing in yourself and always working, no matter what it is. Create. So that's my last words.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very aspirational people. So I guess we have some questions on the audience, so I'll go to the audience Q&A. But I just want to know, like, for most of the audience, is anybody actors? Okay. Anybody behind a camera or like crew? Okay. And then the others are family and friends, or just
Aspiring actors.
aspiring? No, not
No.
even thinking. Okay. So
Free food.
And who are Filipinos? Who understands Tagalog? Okay, thanks. Just wondering, you know. So anybody, you want to start with a question?
Sure. I can speak loudly.
No, I'll.
I was wondering, I was listening to you say that you went to the Philippines and... Okay. So I was listening to what you were saying about you went to the Philippines and you found some good opportunities there. I've been doing acting here in the States for my whole life, but I've always thought about, you know, what would be the opportunities in the Philippines. I don't speak Tagalog, so I was wondering how that would hinder my you know, the opportunities that are there. Are English-speaking roles opening up, or is that something that's really going to hinder my opportunities? Thank you.
So this is on camera.
Yeah.
This is as an
Anybody
actor.
can answer it?
Yeah. As an
Okay.
Yeah, as an actor.
As an actor. It's important, really, to speak Tagalog. You know, even though it's coming up, there is a lot of movies that's done in English or American English. But most of the casting people and directors are still looking for somebody that can speak Tagalog. So unfortunately, you probably have to start learning Tagalog. Otherwise, you're just going to be a model. It's not bad. You know, I mean, doing commercials, you can make a lot of money too. Because the more you are seen in TV, the more job you can get, a paying job. It's not like what we do is indie movies. Indie movies for us is that really you're doing the craft that you're doing. So you can play anything you want. So my suggestion is that, yes, try to start learning Tagalog. So I'm going to give this to Derek because he's also on TV show in the Philippines. So, and so you can tell them a little bit about more.
Well, in the TV show I was last year, I had to speak 3 languages because my character was Italian. So Italian, then English, and then since I was, I had a Filipina wife, I had also to speak Tagalog. And the thing is, if you don't speak Tagalog, you cannot work on in TV, television. You cannot. Even foreigners, they want them to learn Tagalog. If they are white American, they have to speak Tagalog. Also me, they are requiring me to study Tagalog and be fluent, even though, well, doesn't make really sense, because if you see a Caucasian speaking very fluently Tagalog, it's weird. It's weird to me. Yeah, but that's what they like. They want white people speaking Tagalog. That's why, unfortunately, if you are dark, it's very hard to get, to get a good role on TV. Yeah, sure.
There are always exceptions to the rule. There are a lot of Philams who went to the Philippines who actually had to learn the language while already acting on Philippine television. Okay, that's one. The other thing is a major breakthrough is starting to happen with the Filipino Development Council of the Philippines, and working in tandem with the government to start all over again, creating a creative industry parallel to what Korea has. So we're trying to recreate the kind of cinematic landscape we had during the time of Apocalypse Now, when they would shoot films in the Philippines. So that there can be a market for English-speaking Filipinos or Filams. It's starting to happen now. Another thing is, in the meantime, if you do decide to try what it's like in the Philippines, you can always audition for theater. Theater is thriving in the Philippines right now, and they're looking for tall, good-looking Filipinos who can speak English well. Modeling is another platform. But the only limitation is your imagination. You have to be willing to try to improve your connections, your networking, get your demo reels ready, and your resume and your headshot, etc., and start making friends. The festivals are endless. It's every month. It's like every month there's a festival somewhere. Okay. I don't want to oversell it, but it's happening. If an old man like me can get all the jobs I'm getting now, because when I came back, I had to basically reintroduce myself. I had a wonderful career before I left the Philippines, but people forget. After 12 years, the younger generation didn't know me. You know, I was doing a major play. My photo was all over the lobby, and this young man says, "Oh, Bernardo is still alive." And I was standing right behind him. I said, "Potang ina mo."
Getting back to that about being a caution, or there's a lot of emerging thing that they're using Americans, really, like that movie right now, Goyo. There's like I said, we're creating industry in the Philippines that hopefully that everybody from United States or anywhere can shoot in the Philippines. That's what we're coming through. Because of we speak English. That's the reason why when you call somebody in the phone, it's answered in the Philippines. So we have a lot of people like that. Call centers. We're the #1 call center in the world. So of course they speak English, and sometimes it's funny when I talk to them because they're speaking English to me. So, oh, Cebuano di ay ka? Because I get the accent. But if you want to go in the Philippines, like Bibi said, yeah, you have to prepare yourself. For me, talking back a while ago about turning down a role. Do you know I'm supposed to in the movie Birdshot, the one that's nominated right now, but I have to turn it down. That's my luck. I didn't know it's going to be like that, because I'm in the one right now. Maybe everybody's calling me right now, but again, the situation wasn't right because you have to understand in the Philippines that when they call you for a role to shoot a movie, that doesn't mean they're going to shoot it that day. You might wait for another month, or 2 months to be there, and guess what? You have to pay your bills. So that's what happened. I have to come back, and I really don't have the funds to go back in there. So another one that's also in here right now, the movie Daxon. I'm supposed to win that movie too, and it's showing in here also. So you just have to believe in yourself what you can do. Just keep doing it, and the role's gonna start coming, no matter what. If you're prepared for it at the right time, I always say in the movie industry, everything has to be in the right places. You'll be talented. You have to be, the time is right, and the stars just line up together. Talent doesn't make it right away. It has to be the right time, and everything, the stars just line up together.
Yes, it's happening. There are more roles for English-speaking persons, but not enough. And I think it will take years because, well, I worked there, so I know the Philippine industry pretty well. There are no, maybe, American actors who act in the Philippines and are good. Maybe I can count in one hand. There are no really good American actors in the Philippines. So I also, because since I'm doing films in the Philippines to be distributed abroad, I do it in English with also some insertion of Tagalog. It's not hard to find good actors, American actors in the Philippines. It's very, very hard. And then, if you want to go to the Philippines and have your career there, you must learn Tagalog. You must, really. Because, for instance, this year I missed a big role in a teleserie, ABS-CBN, with Daniel Padilla and Catherine Bernardo. I was the first choice. La Luna Sangre is the teleserie. But when they checked my Tagalog, said, okay, you are not yet ready, because you should not sound Italian. I said, but look at my face. Come on. But that's the reality. So they say, okay, you study more, try to be very, very fluent, and lose the accent, because we want you again on prime time. But it's not easy to lose my, my thick Italian accent. It's not easy. Okay. They don't have time. Because another thing is that they shoot the same day for herring. This is crazy, but they do. Almost every time. Believe me. Because, the last episode of Dolce Amore, well, we shot the last scene, me and Sherry Gill, Eigenman, we shot the last scene at 6:30. It was aired at 8:30. The good thing is we shot near the TV station, so they ran with the clips for ready. It does happen. It's crazy there, really.
So did that answer your question, or do you have a follow-up? Okay. I want to ask, how many people wants to ask questions? Because I want to make sure that we have time for everybody's questions. So 1, 2, okay. So 3, 4, okay. So we'll keep the answers a little bit shorter for our guests. I know we love to talk, we're actors, but we want to give chance to all of the other questions. Do you want to ask?
Hi, I'm Lou. I believe this will be answered by Sheila and Abe. As a Filipino actor, what are the common issues that you have to tackle, like auditioning in Hollywood?
So as a Filipina American, it's hard because, the doors are opening up for us, but oftentimes they don't know where to put us. Like if it's for an Asian character, I don't look Asian enough. And if it's for Hispanic, I'm not Hispanic enough. So it's a kind of funky place to be. Oftentimes they'll see us as islanders, Hawaiian girls, but there's only one Hawaii 5-0. So what do we do? And then, as I said, the doors are opening up. So with shows like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and there's a lot of shows now where they're even featuring Tagalog. So I think now the challenges are not going to be as much as it was when I started in the industry about 7 years ago, where I was playing Latina. You know, I was playing all the other things that I was not. So now I feel there's definitely more opportunities for us.
Uh, like I said in the beginning, that I never really played any Filipino until I got Flipside. That was the beginning, but now the reason why about this LAPIFF also and Film Creative, because now we are creating our own. And I always say, in order for us to really get in there, we have to do it. We can't wait for somebody else to do that. But regarding getting roles and all like that, I still get when I get an audition for Asian. To be honest with you, I don't get it anymore. I'm not Asian enough. I don't know why. I'm not Asian enough. Repeat again. Asian enough. uh, so now the whole reason why the film creative and LAPIFF and all like that is to really tell Hollywood that they had to start writing about us, about Filipinos.
Why
Yes.
don't we ask our friend here to write and produce and direct for Filipinos and tell our story? Actually, what he's saying really is what I've thought about when I was staying here. There are not no stories being told about us because they don't really know about us. Filipinos who are rich should invest in Filipino stories and and so we can see Filipino faces on screen.
The movement that we're doing right now, so I hope that you're gonna start blogging about what's happening there. So the more we blog, you guys blog about voice, right? The singing thing. So we can do the same thing. If we blog about this right now, telling Hollywood, and that's what we're telling everybody right now about Birdshot. In order Birdshot has a chance for the Oscar, it's up to us to do that. Not Hollywood, but we have to start blogging. Hey, we have a lot of stories, and like the saying goes, what would happen to the world without Filipinos? Or the movie called "What Would Happen to America Without Mexicans?" Right? It's the same thing. The people, the world has to know what we're doing. We're so popular in the work area, in any part of the world. Why not tell our story? So we need writers, directors to really do that. That's the only way we can come out. And unfortunately, I hope so, that people that has money start doing that also, because we can write, we can act, or anything like that. The money is still not coming in. That number one.
My next film, well, now is in post production. We are doing the grading. It's my fifth feature. The lead is a Filipino, and I played. No, it's Richard Kwan. Richard Kwan. He's the lead. I played his half brother from Italy, but the lead is Filipino. And well, there's me and Leo Bryan, who is the boyfriend of Pokwang,
Wow.
the actress, and he's very good, and he's American, so I casted in my film because he was the only one who could act the way I wanted in the Philippines, but all the others are Filipino. It's a Filipino story. And I have more stories about Filipinos in the Philippines to tell.
Okay, we have a follow-up question.
I guess you were right, Bernie, about they don't know about Filipinos, because just last week I was watching Chicago Fire. Okay, and there was a like a Filipino father and a daughter involved in one of the accidents, and their role was the father didn't even speak a single English word, which is if they'll check about Filipinos. We don't do that. Most Filipinos, he couldn't even say like, because he was saying, ang anak ko, meaning my daughter. I believe it's impossible for Filipino not even to say my daughter is trapped in an elevator or what. Yeah, and I said this is a wrong, most yeah, and the daughter is, she speaks fluent English, but the father, I believe it was impossible, for a Filipino to do that.
Well, they should start knowing more about us.
You have to do the effort. To be
Yeah,
there.
and that's what we're doing here now. So hopefully, it will get to that. Anybody else have a question? So introduce yourself, and if you want to direct it to anybody specific or.
Hey everyone, my name is Tom. I'm from Glendale, or Eagle Rock, for that matter. Um, so you guys were talking about like modeling and stuff, and then like you have to be a certain height. What is that? How tall do you have to be and stuff like to, catch the attention of?
In the Philippines?
Yeah.
There are
Sorry.
always exceptions to the rule, especially with modeling for print or even online. Only becomes more of a challenge if it's on the ramp. You have to really be tall and lean.
For women, it's 5'8" and above. I know because I used to fake my height. But commercial usually is shorter than runway. But for men, I'm not sure about what height requirements they have. Plus, Philippines, it's not a lot of taller Filipinos, so maybe the height requirement is a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's more than that, the fashion and the modeling and the print and all of that to be tall. But there's a lot, because there's a lot of Filipino actors that are short. And they're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it depends what you're trying to get into. But a regular TV show and like that, I seen somebody 5 feet. No, you just have to be good actor to get the roles, especially in the indie movies. And just like Bernard is saying, there's more than the reason why I did this, because there's more than 100 movies that's made per year. Now after the film festival, where's it going? Nowhere. So while I'm in the Philippines, I kept talking about them. So that's when the idea comes to me that we have to do this in Hollywood. But again, there's film festival almost every week in Hollywood, but there's no Filipinos, so why not?
Yeah, if you want to be an actor in the Philippines, your height doesn't matter. Because, for instance, in my last movie, I casted a dwarf to play a priest. Yeah, it can be even like this, it's not a problem, the height.
So height doesn't matter. Plus, there's apple boxes also that they
Yeah,
use
there's
here a
apple
lot.
boxes, no.
Anybody else have a question?
Hello, I'm Jonathan. I just came from Oceanside, and I'm sorry I'm late, but I missed your movie, but heard a lot of good things about it. But anyway, my question is, have you heard of the 48-hour film festival? Because I wonder, it's global, and I wonder why the Philippines, who is very, 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 I would say, movie-going nation, or doesn't have a 48-hour film festival. Because I search it, I look at it, and there's nothing. And this has been going on since, I don't know, time immemorial. And this is like how to make a movie within 48 hours. And I just wonder why. Because Malaysia has, Japan has, Korea has, India has, some European countries has, South America has, but the Philippines doesn't have any. Is there any reason why?
Whatever America does, the Filipino can do it.
Yes.
Really, it's very popular here in the United States, 48 hours. So the content has to be done in the Philippines itself, because we have 48 hours, they have to do it right there.
Yes, yes, yes.
But majority of the Filipinos that are making movies in the Philippines, they're targeting their movies going to be in a worldwide film festival. That's why we're not. But we have a lot of 3 days movies that we made there. In fact, we have one movie here that's GK, and he shoot it in 3 days. So that's very close to 48. So Yeah, 48 hours. I'm sure somebody else, if they some able to finance that thing, they can do it. No, there's no
Well, there
problem
is
there.
I'm sorry, sir, but there is a company or there is a founder whom I really in trying to get in contact with right now. He's in Washington D.C. and I haven't gotten any further than emailing them about establishing a 48-hour film festival in Manila.
Okay. The chairperson of the FDCP or Film Development Council of in the Philippines, she will be here on Sunday. So you might be able to talk to her. Yeah.
Um, before we forget lang, it's connected to what you're gonna say. Right now, the target of filmmakers in the Philippines are the A-list festivals around the world because they're after greater global exposure and money that goes with it. So if it's, I don't know how much money or noise you'll make doing the 48-hour thingy. But right now, yun talaga ang target. It's not even a Filipino audiences in the Philippines. It's for festivals abroad. And also, well, thank God for FDCP. They're trying to develop the new younger student market. So they're showing the films sa schools. And the other thing is, for the first time, they're showing these indie films regularly in those multiplexes. There was a time when a multiplex with 12 movie houses would be showing the same Marvel film. Or they show a Filipino film first day, last day on a Wednesday, instead of opening on a Friday to give it an opportunity to have legs and But things are starting to change, and for the better.
So for us who doesn't know what 48-hour, I guess, challenge or movie film fest is, so does that include like the storyline and like making the story and everything?
Yes,
So everything
yes.
in 48
In
hours.
48 hours, and they have to show it in 48 hours.
The line, and the character.
Sounds
That kind of
exciting.
movement is really cool for the younger, newer filmmakers. But for, like I said, in the Philippines about the film festival, and there's like I said, the first time I was thinking about this is because 100 movies, and only maybe the E-list film is gonna go out because they have the money. The problem is going overseas all the time. Your movie, it's like it's happening in here. They can't even pay for the the post to send the movie. But that idea really, if you want to talk to Lisa, who was the chairman of FDCP, she will be here, and she's the one that can initiate that 48 hours. It's a beginning for for a filmmaker.
Sounds exciting. Um, did they answer your question? You're good. Anybody else has a question?
Hi, just thank you so much for everybody talking about all your different experiences. As an actress, I love hearing all the stories. So my question is this: I know how the acting market is here in the U.S. In the Philippines, is there something similar to the Screen Actors Guild, and how do actors get agents in the Philippines? I've always been curious about that.
I know you heard so many negative things about the Marcos era, but it was during their time that the Film Academy of the Philippines was formed, and it's like the Filipino Oscars, and the guilds were formed: actors guilds, directors, production designers. Beautiful, very well organized, very well funded, and it's practically dead now. I directed the first 3 Academy Awards, so I got to really work closely with them, and it was beautiful for a time. But now, am I answering your question? More or less. There was, but not anymore. Well, it's basic, barely alive, barely
Yeah,
alive.
but
They're trying very hard.
And paper.
yes,
Is-
they don't have any power
Yeah.
because till now the networks, well, the conditions of actors are somehow not non-human because because well, if it's 24 hours, sometimes even 36 hours.
There was a time they would shoot for television 3 days. You practically don't sleep.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah.
a lot of people wound up doing drugs because in order to keep awake.
So I can understand it if are indie filmmakers, they put their own money and they are among friends, but the industry, I cannot, there are no excuses, really.
But
So,
again, things are starting to change. Eric
well,
Matty
yeah,
kind of
there's,
rocked the MMF.
yeah, are changing very slowly, very, very slowly. Uh, very, very slowly.
Evolution is
Yeah,
an
because
achingly slow process.
last year there was a circular that was required like 8 hours break between 2 days, right? 8 hours.
Yeah.
But that includes also the time you travel. So meaning if you wrap up 2 a.m., then you can be called at 10. But what if you are far from your place and they don't pay you a hotel to sleep? You have to travel 2 hours, so you don't sleep. You don't sleep. Yeah.
There are no royalties to speak of, no overtime pay, no insurance, no decent guilds to protect you or speak
Minimum
for you,
pay.
no
No
minimum
minimum
pay.
pay.
But because your agent gets a big cut out of your talent fee, and he does not do anything for you.
Any maximum percentage from agents and managers?
Well, the last time it was 30%. I don't know.
Okay, so there is.
The saddest thing about it, and
It's not 30.
I always cry when this thing happened. Most of the popular people that made a lot of money, producers made a lot of money from those guys, and then when they get old, what did they do? When they get sick, they start begging just to pay for the hospital. That's really sad. Me, I work in both world. I work in the Philippines and I work there. So when I work in the Philippines, I completely changed my thinking. Would I want to do this? Yes, because I get the rule that I want. I'm very selective sometimes in the Philippines. In here, I get jobs because I want to get paid. You know, I don't care. Just give me something in there, just pay me good and all like that, and get the residuals. That's what I do. So it's up to you to do that. When you go to the Philippines, make sure you have some money to back you up. You have some kind of business doing there. Me, I have a business in the Philippines also. I do real estate. Anybody want to buy condos? Uh, no, you got to insert that thing. I gotta get paid once in a while. So those are the things. As an artist, you really have to dig in your heart what you want to do that.
I'll take this opportunity to plug my film, showing at 3:30. Invisible. Okay.
I'll give you guys. Do you want to answer? Okay. So I'll have one last question because we need that time to plug. Anybody else have one last question? Really dying to ask. Yeah. Sorry.
I just wanted to ask, what are your favorite movies right now?
My film. No. Right now, Seclusion was a pretty good movie. But it's not showing here, but Kita Kita was excellent. It's one of those films that, one of the few Filipino films na after a movie, they applaud the closing credits, and the people were just seated there. They got so involved in the film, and they were talking about the film. They didn't leave, or it seldom happens in Filipino films. But they're coming up with really wonderful work back home. They're not. They're not as rigid about the structure the way they are in the Western cinema, but they're coming up with more imaginative way of storytelling, which is exciting. And I don't know if that answers the question, but that's
Favorite movie? Nasagot na.
Invisible, 3:30.
It's coming in the next one. After this, there's Invisible. So okay. Anybody wanna?
Favorite movies?
Favorite Filipino movie? Any on the Job. On the Job by Eric Mati. It's Filipino, about Filipino movies with Gerald Anderson. It's really a world-class film. The technique is perfect, and they got distribution, and a major company bought the rights to redo the film.
My favorite movie is actually an Italian movie, Life is Beautiful. And I want to thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's my also my favorite Italian film.
Oh, good.
Roberto Benigni. Yeah, Life is
Yes. You
Beautiful.
want to make
It won three Oscars.
Yes, it was a
Three.
phenomenal film.
Yeah.
Would you guys be willing to watch an 8-hour film? One of my favorite films is the one I did with Love Diaz. It's Lullaby to Sorrowful Mystery, or Hele sa Hiwagang Hapis, and it won the Silver Bear at the Berlinale, where Meryl Streep was the president of the jury. And she said, by the way, Love Diaz is a rock star in Europe. It's amazing. He's hardly known back home, but the press was chasing after him with the video and everything, people asking for his autograph. And Meryl Streep said, your director is a genius. He rearranged the molecules of my mind. It's like the film drew me into the action became a part of me. And after we won the award, during the post-award dinner, the whole jury stood up and welcomed us. It was standing ovation as we walked in. Lullaby to Sorrowful Mystery by Love Diaz, or Elise Huagang Hapis.
That's a short movie for
8 hours, kind of, yeah. I have a few anecdotes with Clive Owen, but that's later.
So thank you very much. We learned a lot from all of the actions that they've been doing to get to where they are. So really acting is work. So let's all give them a round of applause. And then I want you guys to promote the movie. So tell me about the movie here, included in the festival, and you can also invite them to future projects that you might want to invite them for. Do you want to start?
Okay, my film is Of Sinners and Saints, tonight 9:30. And tells the story of an Italian missionary doing his mission in the Philippines and getting in trouble.
I have very, very good actors there. Raymond Magazzin, Richard Kwan, Polo Ravales, they did a really good job. So I hope to see you tonight. And then I'll do the post-production of my next film. The title is The Spider's Man, so the man of the spiders. It talks about, in the film, my half-brother who suffers from autism and schizophrenia. And, well, his only friends are the spiders. So he grows spiders in his house. It's a dark comedy drama, because it's also funny. A lot of people get killed. It's sort of, if you like Quentin Tarantino, it's the style. But it has also a heart. And I'm pretty much confident that people can see that film here in US, because I'm having also meetings with the producers and distributors and festivals to bring it here. Thank you.
I just want to make it clear, I didn't turn down the roles that he gave me because he never called me. So, I want to thank you guys for supporting tonight, or this film festival. It's really ours. So I want to thank you. On the movie side, I have a movie called The Stateside, and me and Confiado is in the movie, and we're premiering it next month. So we're inviting the press to come over. We'll give you guys an invite. And also a movie called Unlovable. I don't know when that thing's going to come out, but it's another Hollywood movie. So, if you guys want to know me more, Google me, Abe Patama. Yeah, thank you for coming, and that's the only thing about the movies that's coming out with me. And if any directors in here that want to hire me, just talk to me. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Don't forget, Abe is also in a short that I produced, my first big production that I spearheaded with a friend of mine. If you want to see Abe dance, this is the chance. It's going to be tomorrow at 1:45 here, and it's called Sequence. and it was a TV pilot that a friend of mine and I collaborated on, basically chronicling the life of a Phil Am coming from Cerritos, where
And also, I forget the last one. Anyway, the film features two very, very talented young actors, J.M. De Guzman and J.C. Santos. Tremendous actors, you have to watch them. And all these, like me and Cesc Quesada, and Alan Dizon, another multi-award winning actors, won practically at least 25 International Best Actors Award. Okay, and what else? It's a story of the new Bagong Bayani, they call them, the OFWs, whose remittances are keeping the country afloat. And it's about the challenges of living among the diaspora, people away, uprooted from their homes, trying to make a better life for themselves. So, who among us do not know anybody, kamag-anak, kakilala, kapitbahay, who is an OFW? You have, okay, so it's our story, and it's beautifully shot by Boy Iniguez. It actually evolved from a one-act play, and the one-act play becomes a fifth act of the cinema. We created a backstory, and it's all shot in Japan, in Fukuoka and Hokkaido, and it's quite an adventure. It's one of the highlights of my life as an actor in film, and I would love all of you to see it this afternoon.
Let's fill this up tonight. Come in this afternoon.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I said no to Brillante Mendoza, so I can bring it here. Hand carry the DVD to Abe.
Is it working, Gabe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Make sure it's working.
And I'd like to thank you for sharing this afternoon with us.
Bernardo Merda will be back later on. We'll introduce him again. And also, I believe that the director is here. So he will be also answering question and Q&A. So please, if you're here right now, stay in here and watch his next movie, Invisible. They're both friends of mine, the director and Bernardo. In fact, my drinking buddy in the Philippines is Lauren Fajardo. So we live our condos close by to each other. So again, please stay for 3:15, and also the other movies. We have a lot of good movies, that award-winning movies from the Philippines, and of course there's a lot of shorts in there. There's a film that film shorts that's in here. So let's make this thing a fun thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the film festival.
Yes.
Right.
Let's stay for a photo.
Yes, they did a really good job. So I hope to see you tonight. And then I'm doing the post-production of my next film. The title is The Spider's Man, so the man of the spiders, and talks about, in the film, my half-brother who suffers from autism and schizophrenia. And, well, his only friends are the spiders. So he grows spiders in his house. But it's a dark comedy drama, because it's also funny. A lot of people get killed. It's sort of, if you like Quentin Tarantino, it's that style. But it has also heart. And I'm pretty much confident that people can see that film here in US, because I'm having also meetings with the producers and distributors and festivals to bring it here. Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to make it clear, I didn't turn down the roles that he gave me because he never called me. So I want to thank you guys for supporting tonight, or this film festival. It's really ours. So I want to thank you.
Anybody else have one last question?
I just wanted to ask, what are your favorite movies right now?
my film. No, right now, Seclusion was a pretty good movie. But it's not showing here, but Kita Kita was excellent. It's one of those films that, one of the few Filipino films na after the movie, they applaud the closing credits, and the people were just seated there. They got so involved in the film, and they were talking about the film. They didn't leave, or it seldom happens in Filipino films. But they're coming up with really wonderful work back home. They're not. They're not as rigid about the structure the way they are in the Western cinema, but they're coming up with more imaginative way of storytelling, which is exciting. And I don't know if that answers the question, but that's
Favorite movie, nasagot na.
Invisible, 3:30.
So, it's coming in the next one. After this, that's Invisible. So okay. Anybody wanna?
Favorite
answer that?
movies.
Favorite Filipino movie? Any, On the Job. On the Job by Eric Mati. It's Filipino. About Filipino movies. With Gerard Anderson. It's really a world-class film. The technique is perfect. And they got, well, distribution, and a major company bought the rights to redo the film.
My favorite movie is actually an Italian movie, Life is Beautiful. And I wanna, thank you.
Yeah, it's also my favorite Italian film.
Oh, good.
Roberto Benigni.
Yes.
Yeah, Life is Beautiful.
You want to make
It won three Oscars.
Yes, it was a phenomenal film.
Yeah.
Would you guys be willing to watch an 8-hour film? One of my favorite films is the one I did with Love Diaz. It's Lullaby to Sorrowful Mystery, or Hele sa Hiwagang Hapis, and it won the Silver Bear at the Berlinale, where Meryl Streep was the president of the jury. And she said, by the way, Love Diaz is a rock star in Europe. It's amazing. He's hardly known back home, but the press was chasing after him with the video and everything. People asking for his autograph. And Meryl Streep said, "Your director is a genius. He rearranged the molecules of my mind. It's like the film drew me into the action became a part of me." And after we won the award, during the post-award dinner, the whole jury stood up and welcomed us. This was standing ovation as we walked in.
What's it called?
Lullaby to Sorrowful Mystery by Love Diaz, or Elise Huwag Ang Hapis.
That's a short movie for him.
8 hours, kind of. I have a few anecdotes with Clive Owen, but that's later.
So thank you very much. We learned a lot from all of the actions that they've been doing to get to where they are. So really, acting is work. So let's all give them a round of applause. And then I want you guys to promote the movie. So tell me about the movie here, included in the festival, and you can also invite them to future projects that you might want to invite them for. Do you want to start?
Yeah, my film is Of Sinners and Saints, tonight 9:30. And tells the story of an Italian missionary doing his mission in the Philippines and getting in trouble. I have very, very good actors there. Raymond Magazzin, Richard Kwan, Polo Ravales. They did a really good job. So I hope to see you tonight. And then I'm doing the post-production of my next film. The title is The Spider's Man, so the man of the spiders, and talks about, in the film, my half-brother who suffers from autism and schizophrenia. And, well, his only friends are the spiders. So he grows spiders in his house. But it's a dark comedy, drama, because it's also funny. A lot of people get killed. It's sort of, if you like Quentin Tarantino, it's that style. But it has also heart. And I'm pretty much confident that people can see that film here in US, because I'm having also meetings with producers and distributors and festivals to bring it here. Thank you.
I just want to make it clear, I didn't turn down the roles that he gave me because he never called me. So, I want to thank you guys for supporting tonight, or this film festival. It's really ours. So I want to thank you. On the movie side, I have a movie called The Stateside, and me and Confiado is in that movie, and we're premiering it next month. So we're inviting the press to come over. We'll give you guys an invite. And also a movie called Unlovable. I don't know when that thing's going to come out, but it's another Hollywood movie. So, if you guys want to know me more, Google me, Abe Pagtama. Yeah, thank you for coming, and that's the only thing about the movies that's coming out with me. And if any directors in here that want to hire me, just talk to me. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. Don't forget, Abe is also in a short that I produced, my first big production that I spearheaded with a friend of mine. If you want to see Abe dance, this is the chance. It's going to be tomorrow at 1:45 here, and it's called Sequins. And it was a TV pilot that a friend of mine and I collaborated on, basically chronicling the life of a Phil Am coming from Cerritos, where I'm actually from, to the big mean city of LA and all the craziness that ensues. So please come. Thank you.
Coming up at 3:30 is Invisible by Lawrence Fajardo. The film won all the top awards in the SINAG Maynila Film Festival, which had Brillante Mendoza of Cannes Film Festival fame as festival director. It's also been doing the rounds and won several other awards. It won me the Best Supporting Actor Award at the Gawad Urian and nominations at the ASEAN International Film Festival, Film Academy Awards, and also, I forget the last one. Anyway, the film features two very, very talented young actors, J.M. De Guzman and J.C. Santos. Tremendous actors, you have to watch them. And all these, like me and Cesc Quesada, and Alan Dizon, another multi-award winning actor who's won practically at least 25 International Best Actors Award. Okay, and what else? It's a story of the new Bagong Bayani, they call them, the OFWs, whose remittances are keeping the country afloat. And it's about the challenges of living among the diaspora, people uprooted from their homes, trying to make a better life for themselves. So, who among us do not know anybody, kamag-anak, kakilala, kapitbahay, who is an OFW? You have,
we are OFW.
Okay, so it's our story, and it's beautifully shot by Boy Iniguez. It actually evolved from a one-act play, and the one-act play becomes the fifth act of the cinema. We created a backstory, and it's all shot in Japan, in Fukuoka and Hokkaido, and it's quite an adventure. It's one of the highlights of my life as an actor in film, and I would love all of you to see it this afternoon.
Let's fill this up tonight. Come in this afternoon.
Yeah. That's the main reason why I said no to Brillante Mendoza, so I can bring it here. Hand carry the DVD to Abe.
Is it working, Gabe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Make sure it's working.
And I'd like to thank you for sharing this afternoon with us.
Bernardo Bernardo will be back later on. We'll introduce him again. And also, I believe that the director is here. So he will be also answering question and Q&A. So please, if you're here right now, stay in here and watch this next movie, Invisible. They're both friend of mine, the director and Bernardo. In fact, my drinking buddy in the Philippines is Lawrence Fajardo. So we live our condos close by to each other. So again, please stay for 3:15. And also the other movies, we have a lot of good movies, that award-winning movies from the Philippines, and of course there's a lot of shorts in there. There's a film film shorts, that's in here. So let's make this thing a fun thing.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And again, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the film festival.